Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? What do you think a plant is?
Hey folks, buckle up because it looks like Kevin Hart might be in for quite a roller coaster of a year. So his ex-wife Torrei Hart just spilled the beans that she's hitting the road on tour with none other than Katt Williams. Now the timing of this announcement is raising eyebrows since it comes hot on the heels of Katt going all out in an explosive interview with Shannon Sharpe, where he threw some serious shade at Kevin, like accusing him of selling out for fame and being an industry plant. Now here's where it gets even juicier. Rumor has it that Torrei's comedy tour won't be your run-of-the-mill laughs and giggles. Nope, she's supposedly ready to spill some major tea about Kevin during the shows. Drama alert, right? And to add fuel to the fire, word on the street is that Kevin's not taking this lightly. There are murmurings about him throwing some threats Torrei's way for teaming up with Katt Williams. Hold on to your seats, folks, because this is shaping up to be one wild and interesting ride. So, on Monday, January 8th, Torrei spilled the beans on Instagram, sharing a pic of her and her good friend, Katt Williams. And she's not just joining any tour, but Katt's ongoing Dark Matter tour. Oh, and she teased us with just 3 dates for now, but she's slyly promising more to come. Now here's where it gets spicy. The post also included a snippet from that viral Club Shay Shay interview where Katt went all in, taking shots at Kevin and a bunch of others. Remember the line about only putting on comedians funnier than him? Classic Katt. And Torrei seems to be all in on this comedic adventure. So Torrei Hart is no stranger to the comedy and acting game. She's been rocking it in movies like Super Turnt, Lola 2, and Sebastian. And guess what? In 2023, she took her funny bone on the road with the Feelin Extra stand-up tour, hitting up cities across the US. She's not just about the stage, though. In 2022, she dropped a single called Lit, proving she's got skills in the recording booth, too. Now here's the twist. In an interview on the Russ Parr Morning Show, they asked Torrei if she contributed to Kevin's stand-up material when they were married. And she spilled the beans, saying they were practically joined at the hip before Kevin even dove into comedy. She even got the title of class clown back in high school, and they met in a theater arts class. She said, "Definitely a lot, you know. We were together almost every day. Pretty much before he started comedy, we were together, so there was definitely inspiration," she said. "A lot of people don't know I was given the title of class clown in high school. I've always been in the arts. We met in the theater arts class, so it was bound to happen. That's how God set it up." She continued, "I've always been in comedy clubs and around that setting. When we met, we just hit it off because we had similar personalities and we both had things in common." But here's where it gets interesting. Despite the positive vibes, Torrei is now hitting the road with Katt Williams, who's not exactly on Kevin's Christmas card list. People are scratching their heads, wondering if Torrei's just securing the bag or if there's some deeper drama at play. I mean, she's all smiles talking about the good old days. So what's the deal with teaming up with her ex's arch nemesis? Alright, so here's the lowdown in case it slipped your radar. Torrei and Kevin Hart called it quits back in 2011 after 8 years of marriage. Now the plot thickens because Torrei was the one who dropped the divorce bomb, catching Kevin red-handed in the act of cheating with multiple women. And it wasn't just a one-time slip. Rumor has it that Eniko, Kevin's current wife, might have been one of those mistresses when he was still hitched to Torrei. In an emotional recount, Torrei spilled the beans about her dreams of being a power couple with Kevin, shattered by the harsh reality of divorce. She admitted feeling angry, not just because she doesn't believe in divorce, but also because she had to see Kevin everywhere, from billboards to Hollywood events.
In my mind, that me and Kevin were going to have that. In my mind, we were supposed to be the power couple.
Oh, yes.
And there was moments where I would be like, God, really? Because first of all, I don't believe in divorce. So I was angry at that enough, then I felt like a failure. That I have to see him everywhere.
Now here's the real kicker. Torrei wasn't just his wife. She was also putting in work behind the scenes, writing jokes for Kevin's movies and stand-up shows. The messed up part? Kevin never gave her credit for her comedic genius, and to add insult to injury, he allegedly spent the money he made from those jokes on his mistresses. But wait, there's more. Even after Kevin cheated on Torrei, he had the audacity to crack jokes about it during his stand-up shows. Imagine being the person who stood by him when he had nothing, contributed to his success, and then getting clowned on stage. It's a jaw-dropping level of disrespect.
Will ruin your life. Lying will ruin your goddamn life. Lying ruined my marriage. True shit, sweetie. Lying ruined my goddamn marriage. That's a lie. I cheated.
So, yeah, the drama between Torrei and Kevin goes way beyond a simple divorce. It's a tale of betrayal, uncredited contributions, and the audacity to make light of it all on a public stage. Kevin Hart's life is like a non-stop roller coaster right now. Just when you thought things couldn't get crazier, his former assistant spilled the tea in an interview with Tasha K. Like, seriously spilled it? We're talking cheating allegations, gambling addiction, the whole shebang. So according to Tasha K, Kevin's ex-assistant went on record claiming that Kevin's been cheating on his current wife, Torrei Hart. And get this, he supposedly got a thing going on with a flight attendant named Nick Morgan. She even dropped the bomb that Torrei is allegedly pregnant with their second child, all while Kevin's leaving semen stains all over the counter at the Heartbeat. Yeah, that's a direct quote. And apparently he's showering at the side piece's place and then heading home. But wait, there's more. Tasha K straight up asked about a gambling problem, and the assistant spilled that Kevin's game is poker. Allegedly, he gambled away enough money that they had to cut half checks to the crew.
I told Nico, like, Kevin is cheating on you with a girl named Mix Morgan. She's his flight attendant, she's on his planes.
Does Kevin have a gambling problem or something?
His game is poker.
He gambled y'all money away and had to pay y'all half checks?
Yes.
Now here's the kicker. Right after this juicy interview dropped, Kevin wasn't having it. He got triggered, real quick, like lawsuit triggered. He filed a lawsuit against Tasha K, claiming she tried to extort him by threatening to air the interview with his former assistant, Maisha Shakes. The lawsuit also called out the assistant for supposedly making false statements. But before he could even deal with the lawsuit drama, Katt Williams stepped up to the mic on Club Shay Shay and threw some serious shade at Kevin, accusing him of being an industry plant. And can we just pause for a moment to appreciate that this isn't Katt's first rodeo when it comes to calling out Kevin? Flashback to a few years ago when Kevin donned a dress and a wig in an SNL skit. Katt Williams was quick to call him out back then too. The whole dress thing hit a nerve because just a few years prior, Dave Chappelle spilled the tea on Oprah's show about how movie producers tried to force him into a dress. He walks into the trailer and sees a dress, thinking it's the wrong one. Turns out, it's for a scene where Martin's character sneaks out of jail by dressing Chappelle as a prostitute. Chappelle's like, nah, I'm not doing that. It wasn't in the discussion. They try to pressure him, saying it's a hilarious bit, but he stands his ground, saying he doesn't need a dress to be funny. The whole thing gets intense with writers, directors, and producers pushing, but Chappelle sticks to his guns. In the end, they come up with a new scene without the dress, and he's left wondering, how did you write that so fast?
Like, when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress.
Dave just didn't vibe with it. Not because wearing a dress is an issue on its own, but because he felt the industry was trying to corner black artists into doing whatever it took for success. They kept hounding him until they figured out he wouldn't budge. Dave revealed this whole experience was an eye-opener. It took being told to wear a dress for him to connect the dots and realize this wasn't just his struggle. Lots of other black men had been asked to do the same. Martin Lawrence rocked it in Big Mama's House. Eddie Murphy pulled it off in the Nutty Professor series, and Jamie Foxx left a mark with his unforgettable Ugly Wanda on In Living Color. Then you've got the Wayans brothers trying their hand at it with White Chicks. Oh, and we can't forget the less successful Juwanna Mann. Yeah, some would rather forget that one. In the mix of all this, Tyler Perry takes the cake. He's not just known for his entertainment game, but has major influence, even in right-wing evangelical circles. His Medea franchise, talk about significant success and acclaim in the entertainment world. Kevin Hart joined the conversation, dropping some wisdom about artists needing to safeguard their brand and not overstep certain boundaries. He made it clear that up until that point, he hadn't faced any challenges that clashed with his personal beliefs. When the topic of the notorious dress scenario came up, Kevin was like, no way, not for me. Gotta set those boundaries, protect the brand. But hold on, here's where it gets interesting. Just a year later, Kevin finds himself donning a dress for an SNL skit, channeling his inner drag queen beauty. Fans weren't having it. They accused him of being a sellout, calling him out for going back on his words about protecting the brand.
The new pope is 9-year-old Oscar nominee, Kavenshane Wallace.
So what's the deal? Well, some folks are thinking it's just Kevin's turn to go through the Hollywood rite of passage. You know, the whole wear a dress, join the club thing that was trending. It's like a bizarre initiation that some entertainers seem to face at some point. All right, get this. After Katt Williams called out Kevin Hart for rocking a dress in that SNL skit, he had more to say on the matter. When asked about Kevin's dress escapade, Katt's response was like dropping truth bombs left and right. He basically said it's not Kevin's fault. He's just a pawn in a twisted system that expects black men to emasculate themselves for success. Katt didn't let up. throwing some major shade at the industry. He pointed out that Kevin isn't the first to don a dress. We've had the whole Big Mama's House trilogy. And let's not forget Medea. That sassy lady dresses all the way. Katt's basically saying, why are we picking on Kevin? It's like a messed up game, and he just happened to be next in line.
Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now we had Big Mama's House 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
I've never seen Medea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next.
So back in 2018, the gloves came off between Katt Williams and Kevin Hart. Kevin threw some serious shade at Katt, calling him out for being an addict and suggesting that Katt's lack of success was due to choosing D over his career. It was a full-on verbal smackdown. Kevin didn't mince words, expressing his frustration with Katt's constant finger-pointing at Hollywood and the white man. According to Kevin, Katt had his shot at stardom but dropped the ball by missing work, skipping promo shoots, and getting sidetracked with his own promotional trips. The studios deemed him too risky, leading to the decline in his career. In the interview, Kevin was asked about Katt being considered a risk, and he didn't hold back, bluntly stating that Katt chose D. It was a call for Katt to take responsibility for his actions and make a comeback in the comedy scene. But Kevin didn't stop there. He also took a swipe at Katt's criticism of other comedians, particularly Tiffany Haddish. Kevin defended Tiffany and called out Katt for not using his platform to uplift others. He argued that the brand of Kevin Hart was all about expansion, creating opportunities, and bringing others up in the comedy world. Kevin threw down the gauntlet, contrasting himself with the comedy greats like Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, and others who made it to the top without complaining about those coming up behind them. It was a boss move, with Kevin firmly stating that he owns his success and creates his opportunities. In the end, Kevin's message to Katt was crystal clear. Take responsibility for your mistakes, stop blaming others, and focus on building yourself up.
My frustration with Katt Williams comes from, you keep pointing at Hollywood. Hollywood this, the white man, this, and this. When do you take responsibility for your actions? You had the shot. You were the guy.
Yeah.
You were set up to be the star. You didn't show up to work. You became a risk to the studios, which is why the studios stopped f***ing with you.
Why was he a risk?
He chose.
Oh, okay.
Take responsibility for what you chose and say, you know what? I got to fix me, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to stand up for comedy.
But hold on to your hats, guys, because Katt Williams just came back with round 2 in the Kevin Hart saga, and he's not holding back. Katt dropped some serious truth bombs, accusing Kevin of selling his soul and morals for that sweet, sweet Hollywood money. According to Katt, Kevin has no limits when it comes to what he'd do for a buck. Katt took it even further, questioning Kevin's sudden rise to mega fame in Hollywood. He pointed out that Kevin was pretty much a nobody in the West Coast, but out of the blue, he skyrocketed to Hollywood stardom. And Tiffany Haddish? Katt claimed she was only spotted at the Laugh Factory while Kevin was making moves. In a no-holds-barred takedown, Katt stated that in his 15 years in Hollywood, no one remembers going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, seeing lines, or witnessing standing ovations at any comedy club. Katt threw shade at Kevin's early success, questioning how he landed his own sitcom and led a movie like Soul Plane in his first year in LA. According to Katt, it just doesn't add up, and he called Kevin out as a plant. Katt went on to challenge the idea that Kevin was hustling in LA while simultaneously documenting his comedy roots on the East Coast with Chris Rock. Katt declared it didn't happen, and he wasn't about to let lies slide.
Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? What do you think, a plant?
Essentially, Katt's point is clear. Kevin's fast climb to the Hollywood summit doesn't match the typical grind of other celebrities. One moment, Kevin was an unknown, and the next, he was omnipresent. According to Katt, there's more to the story, and he's not afraid to put it all on blast. Katt Williams kept the heat coming, not pulling any punches in his continued critique of Kevin Hart. He delved into the concept of selling one's soul in Hollywood, asserting that those who've done so act like it never happened. According to Katt, these individuals have a specific job to keep mum about the deal they made. He pointed to examples in the industry, like Gary Owen, whom he claimed couldn't cross over despite being in comedy for 25 years. Katt insinuated that taking shortcuts and cozying up to the elites is the reason some comedians achieve success, even if they compromise their principles. Katt went on to accuse Kevin of sometimes taking money from the elites to stay silent on important issues and only promoting the narratives they want. he painted a picture of a Hollywood landscape where integrity takes a back seat, and individuals pay the price for refusing to play the game. Despite acknowledging his status as just a regular old comedian, Katt claimed that when he walks into a room, heads turn and respect follows because he hasn't taken shortcuts or compromised his principles. He declared that he won't be paid to avoid certain topics, emphasizing his commitment to staying true to himself. As a consequence of his refusal to compromise, Katt alleged that many of his movie roles were snatched away and handed to Kevin Hart, who he claimed lacks a moral compass and is willing to do whatever the industry demands.
You know what the #1 job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. Why do you think Gary Owen can't cross over and he already white and been in comedy for 25 years? The king has walked in and they have to respect it only because I've not taken the shortcuts. I've not been funded. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about.
Kevin initially stayed silent, but the tide of support for Katt prompted him to respond during commentary for the Knicks versus Philadelphia game. Kevin dismissed Katt's claims, branding him a clown, and describing the interview as nothing more than a load of horse crap.
The king has walked in and they have to respect it only because I've not taken the shortcuts. I've not been funded. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about. They tell you that themselves.
Katt revealed that as a result of him not wanting to compromise his morals, a lot of his movie roles were snatched from him and given to Kevin, because Kevin has no moral compass and was willing to do whatever they asked him to do. Now, Kevin didn't initially want to respond to this, but after seeing how everybody was rallying for Katt and praising him for exposing the industry, he finally decided to clap back during his commentary for the Knicks versus Philadelphia game. He called Katt a clown and claimed the interview was nothing but a load of horse crap.
Hey, Kev, you didn't say nothing to Katt Williams when he did a 3-hour interview talking slow yesterday. You didn't put a shot clock on him.
Well, do you entertain the circus or do you watch it, Perk? Which one do you do?
Now, the buzz around town is that Kevin Hart is in a bit of a tailspin since catching wind of Torrei Hart teaming up with Katt Williams for a tour. Rumor has it that Kevin even shot a stern warning to Torrei, telling her to keep his name out of her mouth during this comedy rendezvous. Now, let's hit pause and think about this. Some folks are scratching their heads, wondering why Kevin feels he can dictate what Torrei talks about, especially when he had zero qualms airing their dirty laundry on stage and turning it into a comedy spectacle. The hypocrisy is real, my friends. In a recent interview, when Kevin was asked about Torrei hitting the road with Katt, he tried to play it cool, deliver a mature response.
You know, your ex-wife is going on tour with Katt.
I want everybody to win. I hope the tour is great.
But you could practically see the annoyance radiating off him. It's like he's doing the stay calm and collected dance while the drama storm swirls around him. But I want to know what you guys think about all of this. What's your take on Torrei teaming up with Katt for this tour? Do you think she's gearing up to drop some truth bombs and get her own back by exposing Kevin? Drop your thoughts in the comment section and we'll catch you in the next video.